All right.
All right. Welcome to the I Needed That podcast. We're both in our home bunks today because both of us couldn't get up and move in any way, shape, or form. And the thought of getting into my car and having to do that sort of semi squat to settle in, my legs just can't
Oh,
have it, Chris Powell. They can't have it today.
I when I sat down on the toilet this morning, it was a controlled fall, and I had to hang onto the towel rack. You know what I'm talking about, right? And then I'm feeling for the toilet behind me. It was just like smashing a big leg day, but it was.
Oh,
I'm feeling it too,
man.
man. Where are you hurting the most?
Okay. So first up, let's back up. Both of us ran the Lululemon 10K yesterday. Here's a couple of photos of us at race time. There's the team after we were done. There's the whole team after we were done. There's Chris and
Oh,
Odette and Rachel and
yes,
I.
dude, that was so much fun.
It was so much fun. But anyways, yeah, we ran the 10K yesterday, which I think I know for me it was the longest race I've ever done.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've never done anything more than a 5K. Have you?
I have. Yes, I have.
Okay.
So
All
I knew
right.
I knew what we were in for, but I remember you were really scared before. And now, would you consider doing it again?
I think I'm more of a 5K kind of guy myself, but I wouldn't be as frightened of it as I was. And honestly, hi to DA. What's up, DA? What's up, Charlie?
What's up, Charlie?
Um,
What's up, DA?
we I don't think I could have done it. I honestly don't think I could have done it without that girl right there in the middle of the screen with a big smile on her face behind Odette, right in front of me, Rachel.
Yes. She was amazing.
She's
And
incredible.
she was more scared than any of us. And so for anyone watching or anyone listening, Rachel's been going through her own journey of transformation. And so she was terrified. Like you, she had never run a 10K before. She's only done a
Right.
5K. And she was absolutely terrified. But you know what we did? We did the whole walk run method.
Yes.
She was our pacer. She would call it, we would do 90 seconds jogging and then 30 seconds walking. And she called it out the entire time. And I don't know if you observed this, Matthew, but there was like a group of people that started kind of hovering around us and they moved with us because they were listening to her call the intervals.
I
And then
didn't know that.
yes, they were moving with us. It was amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love it. Well, I know that I didn't see this, but Sam said that she got real emotional toward the end, and I'm assuming just because she was just so proud of herself for getting that done, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
and as
that's
she
awesome.
should be. It's just, when you set out to conquer something that you're terrified of, and then that realization that I can do this and I did do this. And she's gonna have that for the rest of her life. No one can ever take that away from her, crossing that finish line and making that memory. Like that's what a beautiful thing, because that's really, she's been, again, I mentioned she's on this incredible transformation journey. And it's not this time for her, it's not about losing the weight. It's about, and she tells me this all the time, it's about making memories
Yeah.
and doing things that she couldn't do before. And she's living a life that she wasn't living before. And so like that's what makes her really emotional, is
That's
that
so
she'll have
cool.
that forever with us. We all crossed the finish line together, and it was,
Yeah.
man,
I
it's
had her.
really
We
awesome.
we went to breakfast after. Of all things and all people, Chris knew the guy who was working at the U.S. Egg in Scottsdale, and so we got him. We got a table. We had a bunch of food, and then afterwards, I was like, Rachel, you have to record the work and recover like we were on the thing because I just want to play this 100 times today. So here you go, everybody, for an hour and 30 minutes. This is what we heard from Rachel
Here we go.
yesterday.
Work!
And everyone starts running,
Recover!
and then we all start walking. That was on
So
repeat
good, dude.
in my head. I don't know about you, but it
Oh
was
yeah.
the same thing.
And we got toward the end there, and I couldn't hear the word recover fast enough. It was
Oh,
like, but that last mile and a half, I kept looking. I was like, are we close to recovery?
yeah, I know.
Because the hips, man, they just start screaming.
Okay, so yeah, tell me real quick, what hurts the most on you today?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's where this started.
Yeah.
For me, it's my legs are super sore. Like I smashed a leg day. I kind of agree with you on that. And then it's my ass. It's like the high part of my ass, maybe in my hips a little bit,
Okay.
where I just feel a little bit tight. But I will tell you, I put a CBD balm all over my legs and my butt, my hips and everything when I got home yesterday. I took an Epsom salt bath I took 4 ibuprofen. So I think I threw everything at it that I could, Chris.
Yes.
But that's where I'm sore. Are you sore at all, or is this like so normal for you? You fine?
No, it's my hips. My
Yeah.
hips are
Okay.
definitely feeling it. So it's a little different from a typical leg day where like it's like a deep muscular soreness. This is more of a joint soreness in the hips. I actually did my 10 minutes of cardio this morning because I can't break my streak. And so I got out there.
What did you do what did you do? Run?
Yeah, I just went running up and down my street. And so, I literally I cluster my promises in the morning. So I first thing out of bed, I jump in my cold plunge just to wake up. Then I throw on my hoodie and my sweatpants and I go running up and down the street because the sun's coming up. And that way I can get the sunlight in my eyes and I get my 10 minutes of cardio intervals at the same time. And guys, I'm on this incredible streak and I can't break it. So anyway, about 5 steps and I'm like, oh man, I don't know. This is not a good idea right now. And my hips are killing me right now. And it's right here. I don't know if you can see, but it's
just below his waist. It looks like you're almost pointing at your psoas muscles, right? Like in the front there.
Yeah, it wraps
a little bit
around.
Behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, because my hip flexors, which is like the psoas muscle, man, they're super tight. So they were pulling on me yesterday, but all par for the course, man. It was so much fun. And again, we made so many awesome memories yesterday. And we had Odette. She drove in from San Diego to join us. And it was a ton of fun. So yeah.
There it is, man.
Colleen?
I like
that.
In the house.
That's my mom's name, actually. Colleen.
Colleen?
Yeah.
Oh,
what's up, Christine? Salute. Cynthia.
What's going on, Cynthia? Yeah, we had a good time. Chris and I decided yesterday that sometime next year, we need to almost orchestrate our own walk-run situation and invite everybody to come to Phoenix and join us for it. And we'll just do something super cool because it was really a lot of fun. The community is the biggest piece that I can't stress enough. Like that is such a fun environment. And everybody on our team was like, I can't believe it's done. I can't believe it. It flew.
It flew by. And that's the beauty of it also. It's like when you're out there by yourself, you feel your body a lot more. But when you're in an event like this and there's the camaraderie and there's the excitement and there's 7,500 people around you, we talked the whole time, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, like we literally carried on conversations. We're
zone 2
and talking like that. Yeah, that's right. There's plenty of zone 2 involved. But it was great because at the end of the whole thing, you knew each other that much more and everyone around you because, have you ever been on like a long road trip and there's always like 1 or 2 cars that are like, if you're going about the same speed, you kind of get to know them pretty well on the freeway.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And they're passing cars with you and there's almost like this little camaraderie. The people that are kind of running along with you, even though you don't know them, but you're always kind of together, you build that camaraderie. And of course, with Rachel calling out the intervals and everyone just kind of started like circling around our group, man, it was fun. So you get to be friends with all the people around you,
Work! There you go. Recover!
Outstanding. I got my stats back. Did you get your stats back from Lululemon?
Oh, I did. Yes.
Okay. So by the way, very, very, we mean this so much. Thank you so much to Harper and the entire team at Lululemon and the 10K tour. We had a blast. I know next year it's in LA. We would love to be a part of that thing as well. I didn't get yours, but this is mine. And I'm guessing yours is similar to it. I put it up on the screen there for those that are watching on YouTube and Facebook, but I came in 4,572nd place.
That's amazing. Yes. Hold on. Let me see.
I was 57th place in my age group, but there was only about 70 runners. So there was, as my son said to me last night, Dad, there was only 11 people slower than you. Thank you. Thank you very much for the reminder.
I love it.
What did yours say?
Oh, bro, I smashed you by 7 seconds. Hold on. There's mine.
1:18:35. Yep. You were just a little bit. Where did you place in terms of your age group?
I don't know. Do I have to hit the red button for that?
Yeah. Hit the red button, but then it pulls up pretty quickly and you'll get overall how you place for your gender and then how you placed in your age group.
1,333rd place. Wow, that's my lucky number is 33.
You talking about your gender or overall?
Out of 1,551 gender.
Yeah. You were what?
Overall, here we go. Overall, 4,558th place. Out of 5,866 overall. But you know what? As far as fun, First overall.
First place.
First. That's all that matters. We had so much freaking
First
fun.
place. Yeah,
Yes.
this was a really, really a good group of people. We had Sam, I'll work left to right. We had Sam running with us, Rachel, Odette, our podcast manager, Chris, me, Claire was there. Cadence was one of her friends. She runs all the time, and she said she loved the intervals. It was her favorite part of the run.
Yeah, that's the way to go. So if for anyone listening, if you're terrified to do like a couch to 5K, just get up and walk, do the walk jog method. It is so unbelievably enjoyable. And you're going to start off by walking for 90 seconds, jog for 30 seconds, walk for 90 seconds, jog for 30 seconds. And you don't have to do a 5K right off the bat. Literally do that for, I don't know, a quarter of a mile and go back home. And then the next day, go a half a mile, go back home. And just slowly but surely you can build it up. And before you know it, then you're jogging for 90 seconds and you're walking for 30 seconds. And you can accomplish anything. People are so, it's really wild because if you haven't moved in a long time, you really, and Rachel experienced this, you start to doubt yourself. And then you get out there and you do it just a few more times and a few more times. And before you know it, you cover a whole 10K, 6.2 miles, and you're crossing the finish line. It's like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Go
you want to say something else, and then I'll move us along a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say there's something really magical also about doing an event. Because I don't know about you, but the moment it's crazy because when you're trying to incentivize yourself or motivate yourself and you're thinking, oh, I want to do this. It's really easy to kick that can down the road. Yes. The moment you actually sign up for an event. Now, tell me honestly, did you feel this immediate sense of urgency of, yes, I better start practicing. Yes. I'm going to get out there, and it becomes a priority immediately. So it's like you have to sign up for the event. And the moment you hit register, it's like the switch gets flipped in your mind, right?
It was really powerful for me because I went to the gym so many times, and did things I didn't want to do, which everybody knows by now is running. And it was fine. I got to be honest, man. Like I even came home and told my wife last night. She was like, how did you do it? And I was like, I got to be honest. I felt fine. Like there was never, maybe like mile 5, mile 6, I started to get pretty sore. But for the first 4 or 5 miles, not only was I never out of breath, I never felt sore. I never felt like I couldn't carry on a conversation. So by all of those measures, I'm going to give myself a pretty good grade for yesterday, man. I felt really good. And here's the other cool thing, at least for me, was, I just turned 50 a couple of weeks ago. And this was the first big thing that I've done in this decade. And right? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, all right, listen, if you're 50 and you start with a 10K, where could you go? What else could you put on the list and actually check off for yourself? And so it was motivating in that sense for me. I don't know if you felt any of that too, but it was motivating for me in that way.
So what's the answer? What's next?
Yeah, I don't know, something, right? But I'm not afraid of really anything, I would love to, I love to cycle. And so I would 100% consider doing something on the bike again.
Yes.
That's a lot of fun for me. I don't love to swim. And I don't love to run, but I do love to cycle. And so I would consider doing something like that again.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah, buddy.
I was thinking the whole time that I was doing that though, I was thinking my kids would love this. I really want to do one with my kids. Because it's really, and by the way, again, for everyone listening, a lot of these events, they've got little like kids 5Ks. They didn't have one yesterday. It was all mostly adults. I didn't actually see any kids on the course, but a lot of times, whether it's like, a Spartan or a Tough Mudder or a lot of these other 5Ks, they've got little kids courses just to get them accustomed to doing big events like this, which I think I couldn't think of a more beautiful thing to really kind of get your kids used to than doing events as a community, and especially like an active event like this. And it was funny because when the kids heard about it, they weren't with me this week. They're with their mom, and both of them were like, "Dude, Dad, let's do it. Let's do it." And I was like, "Oh, we can't do it this time." But so I promised them that we're going to do one, and I'm super excited about getting them involved in this. So we'll have them come along next time, which by the way, you know what the beauty of that is? They slow the pace even more. And so we can Yes.
Look at this. Jennifer was there. She said it was so rewarding to finish. Congrats,
Yay.
Jennifer.
Good job, Jennifer. That's amazing.
Yeah. No. You and I definitely. I mean, listen, we got other priorities and some things. You're working on releasing an app here in a couple of weeks, and I'm certainly got a few things going on. But we have to come up with something, because we even talked about it yesterday, like a run, walk, and stroll where people can bring out strollers, and that way the kids can be a part of it. The kids can jump out and walk and run a little bit. Something like that.
I would love to do something like that. I keep coming back to, though, is where you and I first got started. And that was, doing the mountain climb, the A mountain climb, which is just such a beautiful event for everyone out there who wants to take a very first step on a journey of transformation.
Okay.
Which is, like there's something really cool about you and me going back to our roots.
Let's pick a date then. Let's just pick a date.
Yeah. And maybe it's maybe we combine the two, where it's like you go around the mountain and then everyone meets at the top or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jennifer suggests Kiwanis Park. Yeah, we originally did it at A Mountain, and I like A Mountain, but the parking can be a real pain in the ass sometimes.
Dude, especially now. I mean, Tempe's it's a full-on city now. It is crazy trying to park around there. It is nuts.
Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, let's switch gears a little bit. We have a brand new podcast today that I think you, me, Odette, Rachel, almost everybody on the team agrees is probably going to be our most downloaded podcast ever. No disrespect to anybody who showed up before, but this woman is a legend in her space.
She is Dr. Mary Claire Haver. Boy, I don't know about you, but I was hanging on. Well, I came with 2 pages of questions for her, because she is the authority on menopause for women and hormone replacement therapy. And I left that conversation with so much hope for my sister, my mother, my friends. I mean, first of all, if you're a woman, you must listen to this conversation, especially if you think that life is over after menopause. And if you have, and I think every guy needs to listen to this as well. And Matthew, you even brought that up in the podcast. I mean, if you are a husband or a brother or a son, or boyfriend, every dude, right? If you have a woman in your life, you must listen to this, because every woman is going to go through menopause. So to understand, boy, she broke it down. I left the interview with such a more thorough and deep understanding of the processes and on what can actually be done about it.
All right, let's listen to a couple of clips here. We've got 2 queued up for you. Here is number 1.
So would you recommend that a woman speak, obviously, with their practitioner about that hormone replacement therapy while they're doing all of this?
I think 100% of women deserve the conversation. And the decision to start is individual, based on her risks, benefits, needs, wants. But every single woman deserves the conversation.
Okay, good. I was going to say, what disqualifies them? You just listed it.
Yeah. How does a woman know if, like, the person that she's talking to about menopause doesn't get her case?
So unfortunately, that's going to be most OB-GYNs today.
Oh, damn. Yeah. She threw the gauntlet down, didn't she, a little bit?
She did. But I love also that she actually gave a resource for every woman to go to go talk to a doctor who is willing to have that conversation. And so, which is amazing. So like when you listen to the interview, not only are you going to get all this incredible information, but you're going to get all these resources that you can literally go online, or you can pick up the phone and you can start getting answers for yourself now, whether you are pre-menopause, perimenopause, menopause, or post, which is, like I remember when right after the interview, I called up Rachel. I was like, Rachel, you are going to be so thrilled when you actually listen to this conversation.
Me too. Yeah. I didn't call Rachel, but I called a couple of women in my life, and I was like, I cannot wait for you to hear this.
Right. I was like, you're going to be living your best life into your 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like, you have no idea, but you start now, you can completely set the foundation. I'm fired up about the whole thing.
All right. Here's another clip where she is talking about the surprising impact of hormone replacement therapy.
Physicians love, if it walks like a duck, it sounds like a duck. We're taught a list of symptoms, and where's the duck? But it turns out The duct's a lot more complicated. There's multiple organ systems affected. It affects our brains, our skin, our kidneys, our lungs. There's not a single organ system that is not affected because we have estrogen and testosterone receptors just about everywhere in our body. And when we take those hormones away, so the symptomatology can be really different from woman to woman, where mine was hot flashes, night sweats, a lot of emotional changes. Another woman's might be creaky joints, frozen shoulder, massive headaches, so it really is different from woman to woman.
All right. Just like you said, man, sensational. I hope everybody takes advantage of it today because she's a wealth of information. And I'm going to double down on something you said a second ago, Chris. I want every single man that listens to our podcast to listen to this as well, because all of the women in our life go through this at some point or another. And it's so healthy to understand, kind of like medically speaking, where they're coming from and what we can do to be a lot more supportive.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And for all the women out there listening, just know that you can absolutely be living your best life, like physically, mentally, emotionally, well into your 50s, 60s, and 70s. It does not have to be the end of the line for you by any stretch of the imagination. So please listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Colleen wants to know where it's located. It is everywhere. It's on Spotify for sure. So if you're a Spotify listener, just look up I Needed That. Actually, what we do here, let me put a link in this right now. I can just do this really quick while we're talking, if that's okay with you, dude.
Yeah.
And we actually, on Chris's website, there is a button that you can hit, and then every single platform. Let me post this into the comments right now here. Stand by. Every single platform is listed there. So you can just go to that website, Colleen, and then hit it. And then all of the stuff is kind of like right here. I can even show you what it looks like just so everybody has an idea what they're getting ready to expect. But that's it. That's what it looks like. And so you can see that you have, Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio. They're all there. So it's a super easy way to go and get connected to our podcast and go and check it out. And Cynthia, what if a woman has kids late in the years? Do they have, listen to the podcast, because I'm not exactly sure if that specific thing came up, but I'm sure she says something that might help you get an answer.
Yes. Well, and it's the process of, when a woman stops ovulating. And so basically the systems there shut down, but at the same time, the body also stops producing a lot of those hormones, which would be your progesterone, your estrogen, your testosterone. And so we literally go through every single hormone. We talk about a lot of the treatments for each one, how they will actually be separate, but then also ways to cluster them based on your practitioner. And so, yes, we talk about all of the above. And it was funny.
Colleen, I put it in the comments right away. Go ahead, Chris. I put it in the comments for everybody. First, whoever's a Spotify user, that's it right there. It's in the comments.
It was interesting because, I do a regular Q&A on my Insta, and I've been slammed for the last few weeks, so I haven't had a chance to. But when I was mentioning that I was going to be interviewing Dr. Mary Claire Haver, I had all these women writing in all their questions. So by the way, I grabbed all of those questions and every single one was asked.
Yes,
and so
sir.
I'm so excited to turn around. And I promised every single person who asked, I said, I will ask her these questions. That's why I showed up with 2 pages. And so, I certainly hope that everyone's really, they're educated and excited and inspired by the way that everything went down.
I think even if you love your OB, like when you hear this podcast, you're probably going to have a list of 5 or 6 questions that you want to ask your OB about when you're done. She's just that good. I love, there's nothing to me cooler in the world than a person, I don't care what they do for a living, but anybody who can sort of translate and help people understand a lot more clearly, like what to expect. And she is freaking dynamite at it.
Yeah.
So,
and you can, and she's pure passion also. The way she breaks it down in an easy to understand way, but man, she does it with a lot of excitement and passion. So you can tell she loves what she does.
She was awesome. So anyways, that's out today. Whole bunch of podcasts out today. I think aren't we closing in on number 50?
Yeah.
Wasn't that 50?
Yeah. 50. You're 50. The podcast is about to turn 50 episodes deep. Man, this is awesome.
We got a whole lot of 50 going on.
Yeah,
Let me see.
Do.
I was gonna look and see. Okay, Marie Claire is 49, 48. So
Ooh,
we're getting there.
Okay. We're almost there. Wow.
Well, listen, we didn't get together to do a pod, but I feel like we've done a pod today anyways. And what's the rest of your week looking like, man? How are you feeling about all this app craziness, man? I know it's a lot.
As I'm just going to be totally transparent about this whole thing, man. In the tech world, it's funny because if you'd asked me 3 weeks ago, I'm like, dude, I'm so excited. We're launching this thing in like 2 weeks. No, there's more tech issues and there's bugs and you find all kinds of craziness. And so we do have to push the launch back just a little bit, as this is just a normal practice in the tech world, but it's such a pain in the butt because the timelines are not, it's hard to be solid on it. And so we got to push it back just a little bit. And then there were a couple big scheduling issues, like Ruby's birthday, my daughter, that it was funny because we were going to push a launch date to November 16th, which is her birthday. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. No way.
Yeah.
At least my priorities are in the right place.
Yeah,
so,
buddy. Yeah, I learned so much through you on this whole thing. Like one of the interesting things that I learned was that when you create an app, you submit it to all the platforms, and then there are people sort of they go through with a fine-tooth comb and they decide basically like, is it ready? And for those, I think most people understand this, but when you write code, you create an app or a website or something like that, there's usually bugs. There's usually bugs in there, links that don't connect, things that work one way on one page and don't on another. And I'm sure in the tech world, it comes down to a semicolon and a colon and a dot and a period and an exclamation point, right?
Yep.
But these are really, really super small details. And I was fascinated to learn that Google itself, in your example, was one of the companies that kept sending it back and going, okay, you got to clean these few things up, got to clean these few things up. So I actually came to appreciate the apps that were in my app store more, because it made, through you, I was like, oh, wow, they really look at this stuff.
Yeah. And it's a human that's actually looking through, who's literally clicking through your app. And I'm sure eventually AI is going to take over that place. But right now it's like literally a human who's going through, clicking on the app, trying to break it. And it is tough. It's kind of like whack-a-mole, where it's like there's a problem and you'll fix that problem. When the moment you fix it, another one pops up, and you go over there and you fix that problem. And then the first one pops up again and you fix it. So the biggest thing with every app out there, everything's like, it's going to break. It's going to. But what you do is you fix it, and then you fix that, and then you fix this one, and then you fix it, and you get to a point where an app is stable. And that's what we're looking for, stability. And we're still the problems are not as big as they used to be, but we're fine tuning them. And it's just not at the place where we're ready to roll it out yet, because it doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be really, really, really incredible to roll it out. And it's just not ready yet. And so I'm not ready to share it with the people yet until I know they're going to have a phenomenal experience. And so it's going to be a couple more weeks, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. But yeah, we're
didn't you say, is it kind of a secret that you're thinking sometime in December now?
I see, if I say it, I'm going to jinx myself.
Okay, so you're not going to say it. We won't say it. Sometime before the end of the year.
Yes, yeah. That will definitely happen, but it's coming soon. And the other tricky thing though is that the longer it takes, like all of a sudden, like a timeline gets pushed back a little bit, and I think, oh, we can squeeze 3 more features in right now, and like I'm going to surprise them even more. So like it's hard. It's called feature creep. And I am so guilty of it because I'm constantly dreaming about the next steps. And so the team, the moment I'm like, hey guys, I think there's a tone in my voice when they know I'm going to ask for one more thing. And so they before you know it, everyone's like, oh, here he goes again. Okay. But it's going to be,
you should come up with a document that's the one more thing. And then that comes into 2.0.
That's it. We have that document. We actually,
you do?
Yes, we do. So.
That's so smart. Well, because it's hard. You're always going to be, you yourself are always going to be thinking about different things that you could do to add to the experience.
For sure. I can't wait for the future. I can't wait for 2.0. I'm already there. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But it's been a really fun process, frustrating at times, but exciting.
Fun?
Moments of it are fun. Moments, especially, well, here's the thing, fun when you actually see it come to life.
Yes,
that's super cool. I mean, I did my cardio with it this morning when I was talking about it. I went out and did my 10 minutes. I didn't want to break my streak. Dude, I've got a streak on this thing, and I just I'm going, and it's fun.
What is it? What are you like, 4 months, 3 months, 2 months? Where are you at?
As far as my streak goes,
Yeah.
I was even telling Rachel, so like my streak on there, well, I reset it all the time because we have to. But as far as my actual daily streak, I mean, it was going to be the last time I left town, which was we went to Hawaii and for that with the Department of Education for Move 1 Million. What was that? August? And so yeah, no, I mean that was, by the way, that's the only time that I've actually broken my streak. So I'm on a heck of a roll, especially when it comes like cold plunging, cardio, breathing, sunlight in the eyes, the whole thing. I've been doing this since last December.
Is that
So,
what your promises are to yourself every morning?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? Is it those 3 things, 4 things? What is it?
So I do cold exposure first. And by the way, it's not for muscle growth or anything. It's all for focus, dopamine. It's all for mental clarity. So I do cold exposure. Then I do 10 minutes of cardio. And then I do direct sunlight in the eyes. And a lot of times I'll cluster them. So, and then gratitude, come up with 3 things that I'm grateful for. And that usually buttons up. That's my morning ritual right there. Oh, and then breathing, because when I'm doing the cold exposure, it's a great time to actually
box breathing.
I box breathe. Yeah. So I can knock out 5 things at once. And the thing is, it only takes me 15 to 20 minutes to do all of those things. But man, it lights me up. Like it ignites my day. And I'm ready to rock within 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's go.
All right. I want to talk to those of you who are watching us right now and listening to the podcast right now. I want you to tell me what's the one, you don't have to do 3 like Chris. What's the one promise that you make and keep for yourself every day? To everybody watching, we're going to put these up on the screen. Aren't you just so curious what people are going to say? But what is the longest or the one promise that you keep for yourself every single day? And while you guys are typing that up, Karen has a question. How long is the longest to do the cold plunge?
So I will rarely plunge more than 2 minutes. And because, the key is to do a total of around 11 minutes a week. And so I do about 2 minutes a day. So I get, every week about 14 minutes. But the thing is while you can go longer, it's basically about just getting that cumulative number of about 11 minutes. And that's where you can really start to get a lot of the benefits of it. But at the same time, I mean, when you first start, go 30 seconds, maybe go a minute, and and see what works best for you. Here's the one thing I do though. If I train heavy, and if I'm actually looking for muscle growth, cold plunging is not very good for you. Did you know that? It'll actually slow muscle growth. And so if you're training for hypertrophy, so a lot of times if I do like a heavy upper body workout, then I will plunge my lower body. If I do heavy lower body, then I'll only plunge for 30 seconds because I don't want to get it too cold, because the cold reduces inflammation. But inflammation is actually the trigger. It's like the stimulus for muscle growth, for protein synthesis. So a lot of times if you get really cold, you slow down that and you blunt that inflammation. So anyway.
All right. Sorry, here we go. Got a couple of people chiming in on their promises every day. Jennifer keeps it. It's gratitude. Karen, I love this answer. She says, I just get up in the morning. I mean, that's step 1, right?
That's huge. Fantastic. Like, don't hit snooze. Fantastic. Don't hit snooze. What a beautiful promise to keep to yourself.
Yeah. What about this? Jen says, can you explain the direct sunlight in the eyes? You said it to us yesterday because we were all going to go back to the car and get our sunglasses. And then you were like, no, you're not going to do that. You whipped out some science. Absolutely.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually grab a clip that I want you to watch of Andrew Huberman. So he is a professor of neuroscience, and he's also an ophthalmologist, a professor of ophthalmology at Stanford. And they actually talk about these. We have these photoreceptors in our eyes. This is the strongest way to actually set your circadian rhythm. We greatly underestimate the power of direct sunlight in our eyes because it's built into our DNA from our ancestors. And so it sets, there's this wild mechanism. It's right above the roof of our mouth. It's a part of our brain called the monochiasmatic nucleus. And it actually sets your circadian rhythm. And in order to do that, you actually need to get the sunlight in the eyes first thing in the morning. You notice it's a different light. It's a very yellow kind of light. Our eyes are actually built with these special photoreceptors in there. And so it triggers that monochiasmatic nucleus, which is like sits just above the roof of the mouth. And from there, there we go. What is this here?
Is this it?
Let me see. I'll go pull it right now.
Well, here, let me play it because I've already got it here. And if this is not it, let me know. Let me know if you can hear this.
Imagine
Chris.
going into a clock store with every clock is an alarm clock.
Can you hear that okay?
Yep, got it.
And they're on different schedules. That's what happens if you don't view morning sunlight. And you do view morning sunlight for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes on a clear day. Just look in the general direction of the sun, even if you have to be on your phone, but just kind of get some sunlight in your eyes and blink if you need to, if it's painful. That morning sunlight coordinates all the cellular and organ systems of your body. It boosts a number of chemicals that need to be released early in the day, such as cortisol, which is healthy if it's released early in the day, and the so-called catecholamines, which gives you increased focus, energy, and alertness through the morning, increased immune system function throughout the day. And it sets a timer on some other clocks in the body, including the one that releases melatonin about 16 hours later to make you sleepy and fall asleep easily. If you don't do it for 2 days or 3 days in a row, what happens is that morning increase in cortisol still happens, but it starts getting pushed out towards the afternoon. And that is strongly associated with depressive symptoms, anxiety, and sleeplessness at night, which then just makes it harder to function during the night.
Boom.
Great explanation.
That's the man right there. Yeah. And so I tell you what, he has really moved the needle for the masses when it comes to that kind of those practices. And I'll tell you straight up, I was a night owl for I can't tell you how many years, especially working on these apps late at night. And I could not get myself to wake up in the morning and like to go to bed early at night and wake up early. Like I could not reset my clock until I took 3 days, forced myself to wake up, and I got early morning sunlight. By the way, no sunglasses. It does not work. Glass will filter the photons that we need. And so it has to be exposed to the actual sunlight. Took 3 days. I was in bed, fast asleep at 9 o'clock at night. And now I wake up like clockwork every morning at 6 a.m. It completely, so everyone's like, oh, I can't, my body's not built that way. I'm a night owl. No, you aren't. You can you can 1000% completely reset your circadian rhythm by looking at the early morning sunlight. Like he said, it actually tells your body when to start producing more melatonin 16 hours later or 15 or 14, whatever that number is for you. It is wild and it's a game changer. Right. So, yeah.
There it is. Yeah. Colleen even says, I never wear sunglasses. We need the sun. Her promises, by the way, are self-care, healthy food choices, meal prep, movement. Those are all fantastic.
I love it. And those are some big promises too. But man, boy, they also, clearly they changed your life, which is amazing. Good job, Colleen.
All right, man. Listen, we're gonna let everybody get on and off with their day. And listen, we always end with, would you rather, name that tune, and what's the importance of keeping promises to yourselves when we have our guests. But Chris, I'll let you take the question today as we wrap up. The importance of keeping promises to yourself, man. You're building a whole app around it. So why are you so passionate around this piece?
Oh man, how much time do we have?
As much as you want, man. It's your podcast.
I having taken people through the journey of transformation for 20 plus years, I found myself working with so many people that lost belief in themselves. They had no self-esteem. They were in a really dark place. And the common denominator was the fact that they had made and broken so many promises to themselves. And that's where I realized that your integrity, which is your ability to do what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, and your dignity, which is how you feel about yourself and your esteem and your confidence, they are tied together. And so, the path that there truly is an inner path of transformation. And we get so confused with all these different diets and all this different, exercise programs and everything. And you think that that's where the power is. But the power really for true transformation has nothing to do with diet or exercise or weight loss. That's all. The diet and exercise are tools. Weight loss is secondary. The real journey of transformation is learning how to believe in yourself, building your esteem, building your confidence, and learning how to love yourself. And in order to do that, that dignity is tied directly to your integrity. So the moment you change your focus to keeping your promises to yourself, that's when everything changes. And if you can keep your focus there, then over time you will learn to believe in yourself. You'll build that confidence, that esteem, and that self-love. There's no greater act of self-love than doing what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it when nobody else is watching. That's truly loving yourself. And then everything else falls into place. Everything else is secondary. And oh yeah, you lose a lot of weight too. And you could just pull from all these different tools like direct sunlight and meal prep and, cardio and, working out, say making a promise to take 10 minutes to do some sort of resistance training or stretching every day. Those are all tools. You pull from them and you commit to them. And it's honoring that promise. That's in the heart. And that's when everything changes. So keeping your promises is everything. It truly is. And not, I'm going to use the word spiritual, not with no religious connotation. It's a spiritual experience of learning how to love yourself. And that's what transformation is really all about. And that's what the mission that I'm on. So thanks for asking me the question, buddy.
Yeah,
Man,
buddy. I love it.
I'm going to talk about this for the rest of my life because I really believe this is what everyone truly needs to know. There's no magic diet and there's no magic exercise out there. As a coach, I will always encourage everyone. And that's always going to be my message. Please keep your promises to yourself. Don't take my word for it. See for yourself. And it changes everything.
Excellent, man. Go to chrispowell.com, click on podcasts. You can link to all of the podcast links, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you choose to be. And we hope that everybody has a chance to go and listen to the podcast that we just released today with Dr. Marie Claire Haver. She's in Austin. Wasn't she in Austin?
Yeah, I think so. Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. And as Cynthia says,
no,
you guys. Oh, yeah. She was in Houston, outside of Houston. That's right. Because we were talking about the World Series. I had the jersey on because the Diamondbacks were still in it.
They were for a hot minute.
Hey, we made it to the World Series, dude. That's good enough. Only 2 make it.
Yeah. Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Not me.
Amazing.
Right.
All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much for your support on the I Needed That podcast. Don't forget about the I Needed That podcast Instagram handle. That's where we post tons of clips and pictures from kind of behind the scenes of the recordings and all the fun stuff. So have a chance, look at that. We also have an official YouTube channel now, which you can go ahead and check out at I Needed That podcast. And if you want to watch some of what we're doing, we welcome you to join us over there. What do you got planned the rest of the day, homie?
Oh man. So I'm doing a big presentation for the sheriff's department actually. So I'm super excited about that. And then more work on the app. I'm getting with the team here in just a little bit. Got a design meeting, development meeting, and then kids. So that's check this out. Well, it's hard to see right now, but I've got it's a birth week around here. And so it's hard to see, but
look at that, dude.
Taylor Swift themed birthday. So it's not till Thursday, but at the same time, she's coming over today. So I wanted to surprise her. But so I spent some time getting the place ready last night.
You're the greatest.
It'll be fun, man. It'll be a lot.
That is so fantastic.
Well, she's turning 10. How crazy is that? She's 10 years old. So yeah, Taylor Swift's biggest fan. So I hope she
get ready, bro. The 10 to 20, I think, is like it's freaking a blur. It's so quick.
I know. I'm just trying to embrace every minute while I still can. So anyway, what does your week look like?
I am writing today. I got to finish the script. I'm going to, people don't know this, but on the side, I do some officiating at weddings. And so I'm finishing a ceremony for a wedding that's coming up in 3 weeks at the Wrigley Mansion.
Wow.
And so we're going to be doing a wedding. So I got to finish writing that because I meet the wedding couple on Wednesday night to go over their script and make sure they like it. And then I too am working on a big presentation of all the things in the world, man. I got asked to do a presentation at this enormous Catholic parish church here in Scottsdale. They've got like 10,000 people that go to this church, and they wanted to bring me in to talk about self-care and having conversations with people and how to have conversations. So I, like you, I'm writing out a workshop this week, man, and fine-tuning it to make sure that when we present, we don't look like an idiot.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? That's the main thing. Just don't look bad up there.
Don't look stupid.
How exciting, man. That's like a mega church.
It's going to be really cool, man. Yeah, no, I love it. I really, any opportunity to get in front of people, and, with the holidays coming up, and you and I talked about doing a podcast about this, and we still should, but, there's a lot of people that have to get with family members and friends that they don't like. They just, they don't vibe with them. Maybe it's politics. Maybe it's something totally different from politics, but whatever, there's some rub there, right? And as a guy whose job it was to communicate with people for 27 years, I have some what I think are really powerful tools to use during those conversations. And so that's the goal. Just give everybody some tips and tricks to escape those difficult conversations unscathed.
Probably a very appropriate conversation to be having about now, and nobody better to deliver it than you. That's for sure.
You're a sweet man.
I'm sure
All right,
you're
buddy.
smash it as you always do.
Thanks again for watching, Chris. Have a great day. Good luck with the app. We'll
Thank
see
you,
everybody
guys.
next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.